And a huge part of your job is um, it's beneficial. It's you want a beneficial thing for both you and the person you're working for, or the
Yeah.
person or the client you've engaged. So now, how are you able to measure the work that you've done? Because it's one thing to put the product out there. It's one thing to make the brand awareness, you know, go a level higher. It's one thing to do all of this and advertise people, but now how do you measure the work, or how do you measure your success and put it back as a report to the client?
So one of the things, if it's in the digital space, for us, we use tools such as analytics to be able to guide us. So we have Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, and our reach. At the start, before we start working with this individual and brand, we're able to see where they are at. So this is where you're at. These are the numbers that you had. Then when we started crafting stories for you and putting you out there as a personal brand on social media and the different spaces, how much have we garnered? How much which posts are doing well? You know, those numbers. And why are okay, if it's a post that's not doing well, why isn't it doing well? Why aren't people resonating with it? Understanding the demographics that this person is reaching out to, so that when we're tailoring the report, we're not just giving someone, oh, these are the likes, these are the reach. We're giving you something that's so comprehensive, detailed, to the sense that you look and you're able to say, okay, so this is what we need to work on. These are the kind of stories that we need to build on. This is the kind of content that I need to do. If it's visual content, if it is audio visual, these are the places where I need to go in terms of if I want media interviews. You know, personal brands also need to sit down and go to be seen in different spaces. This is where they'd go, and this is not where they'd go. So that's how we measure our success. And also the other aspect, that's now in terms of the client. For the client, we also ask them, what is success? What does success look to you?
Yes.
So wherever there are clients who are clueless, especially personal brands, who are clueless. They don't know what success means to them. So we try and walk with them and make them understand what success would mean for them. And then now just give them time to also think about where they want, what legacy and what impact they'd want to create in the world with a personal brand. Because at the end of the day, for us as Mikili, is creating or building brands that create lasting impact in the world. So if we're doing that, we just don't want to tell stories or create content or just post. You know, people think social media consultants or communication guys just post things online. But we want to create a post, or we want to create a story visually or even audio visually in a way that would create lasting impact. That 30 years down the line, someone would come back and refer to that
and
story.
remember
Yes,
the project you did.
exactly.
Okay, and now we get to the most uncomfortable part, because talking about finances is a bit uncomfortable. It's a bit taboo, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So how do you measure your work, and how do you make it financially sensible to you? What figures do you quote? And when you're quoting these figures, especially to the client or to an individual brand, when you're coming up with this client, what do you factor in? Do you factor in the time you've put into the project, or do you factor in your expertise? Because it's one thing, I could do whatever the client wants me to do in 2 hours, but how am I going to tell them that this amount of money actually makes sense? How do you ask for money in a way that makes sense to you?
One thing, we're experts. So we've spent time. The people working at Mikili or any social media consultant out there has spent hours and time to craft and hone their skill. So that is one, that we quote our clients on the aspect that we are experts in the field, and also the aspect that we are spending hours on building this brand, the number of hours we're going to spend on building the brand. And also the success. Have we reached out? If it's 4 points that we needed to reach out to you in the span of time that we have handled your brand, can you look at this and see that we have met the 5, the 6, the 7 that you needed us to meet? And if you have done that, that's how we quote clients and give them a figure. And also another thing is that before even we reach out to that client, we already understand, and we've done our research, as I was telling you at the start, to see, is this a client that would be able to get our services? Because you don't want to just reach out to anyone, and when you start telling them, this is the work we've invested, this is what we've done, and they're telling you, I can't pay you that money. And we know Kenyans, when it comes to especially social media, if you ask any social media person out there, someone wants to underquote your your worth. But because if you understand your worth and you understand the time that you're putting in, you won't underquote yourself.
True.
And they'll also be able to see from the results that you're giving them why you're spending that amount of money. So we just don't reach out to anyone. We reach out to the clients that we see that would fit the kind of brand that we are as Mikili, and even where we want to take them, because we have the end in mind. It's not just posting, it's not just doing digital for the sake of doing digital. It is doing digital with a different shift, authenticity, because that's, remember, with everything that's coming up right now with AI and all those things, there's a human element that is missing. And for us as Mikili, we need to be able to create stories that human element is not lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.